babbling buffoons, all babbling, all buffoonery. I'm Alex.
I'm Jack. Welcome back, man. Glad to see you down here.
Oh,
A little bit different than what we've done before.
yeah, just a wee bit different.
Not too much. Yeah, we don't have the gang with us today, so it's just us.
Yeah, just today.
But no, man. I wanted to talk to you about something that I think really hurts Ohio.
And what would that be?
And honestly, man, voting and how, as a society in Ohio, we voted for the legalization of marijuana.
We did.
And and how they've changed it over the past couple of years. Because back in 2023, we voted for it, and they heard the people's voice, and it made it legal.
Made it legal. They had all this stuff set in, and then from what I was told, DeWine, because he's apparently a person who doesn't like marijuana at all and whatnot, from what I've been told, has did and done everything he can to try not to get it to pass. And then when I heard it did pass, he's done anything and everything he can to put all these restrictions on it and all these different regulations and stuff like that and whatnot to basically try to.
But to get back on that, back in 2023, when we legalized it, they allowed us to grow it at home for anybody over the age of 21. We're allowed to consume it.
Yeah, I heard we could. What was it at the time? I was told we could grow. Is either 4 to 6 plants?
I think it was 6. I think it was 6. Honestly.
Yeah, a single individual was allowed to grow at home for their personal consumption.
Yeah, and like I said, it wasn't our lawmakers that wanted to make this legal. It was the people that wanted this legal.
Yeah, and the people voted for this.
And honestly, man, I wish I'd have done a little bit more study. But I think marijuana and tobacco basically fall under the same umbrella.
They do, in my opinion, because if you think about it, dude, when it comes to certain things, because tobacco is a plant that grows in the ground, we dry it out, roll it up, sell it to people to smoke for tobacco. That's the simple process of tobacco.
Yeah.
With marijuana, same principle. We grow it out of the ground like tobacco, we pull it out of the ground, we dry it like tobacco, and then people sell it and roll it up and smoke it like tobacco. Granted, yes, there's a slight different effect than tobacco, but at the same time, you still have what's called a tobacco high or a nicotine high, which people get from smoking cigarettes, and then you have a marijuana high or whatnot, which people get from smoking marijuana. But here's the other kicker. On a side note, we have different ways now to ingest marijuana than just,
smoking.
Yeah.
Of course.
And which a lot of other people prefer, because some people might not want to do it that way.
No, and that is true. My mom's side of the family actually owned a huge tobacco farm in Southern Ohio when she was a kid. Yeah, she learned how to do it. Unfortunately, my great-grandfather passed away before I was even of age to go down and work the land. Actually, I think he sold it before I was born, but he grew it his whole life. And I always heard tobacco is good for you. Now, here's the problem. I've heard it recently that it's even better for you than anticipated, but it's the stuff they put in it is what kills you.
Yes, I firmly believe that, and the reason why I firmly believe that is because until big tobacco companies started coming in and making cigarettes and doing stuff, you could look at people that were born in 1890s, 1900s, 1910s, 20s, even people from say World War II era. Those guys would smoke and smoke and smoke. They would go, some of those guys could go through 2, 3, 4 packs in a day. Never would see a trace of cancer, wouldn't see nothing in them. Yeah, they might tell them their lungs are a little bit bad from smoking and whatnot.
And that's going to happen when you're breathing something in that's not.
Yeah, but other than that, those people would, died mainly from old age and stuff like that. You didn't see, there weren't the links back then of cancer and stuff, because they weren't putting that stuff in the tobacco what they do nowadays.
And honestly, I believe that when they listened to the people and legalized marijuana, just like they did back in the day when they did, nicotine, it gave it an economic growth.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, right, because now we're not just selling cigarettes for, I don't know what, there's $6, $7 a pack, $8 a pack. I don't know. I don't smoke.
It varies on the brand and stuff like that, but I would say even on the low end scale of a brand, you would probably pay $5 for a pack, and depending on how like brand wise and expensive you want to go, and also depends on where you live too. But yeah, it's like $5 for a low end pack to like $10, maybe
See,
11 for like a higher end pack. And usually that's where you get into like your Marlboro. I know Newport and menthol is usually we're always on the expensive side and whatnot.
yeah, that's insane.
And that's just here in Ohio, from what I know of. Who's to say what it could be like over in California, up in New York, Minnesota, down in Florida? Because those places, I've been told California, it's like $15 for a pack of cigarettes over there.
Yeah, I mean, and you also got to think, right? It was a moneymaker for them to legalize marijuana, and what they did is it was able to be taxed to, help the local government, of course. Mm-hmm. They got to get their share.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got the public programs that the tax money goes to help out. I'm sure I don't have the exact programs, but I'm sure there are some, just like cigarettes, when they taxed and everything, does go help some local programs out.
Oh, yeah. Well, also, too, if you think about it, too, it also... the money revenue, it's a massive positive money revenue for everybody if you think about it, because now instead of, say for example, a guy like me going to gym, getting what I need to get from him illegally, instead of the state receiving that money, I'm putting it in the hands of a bad guy or whatnot. Now with it being legalized in the state, instead of going to gym to get my stuff, I can go on over here to a dispensary, pay what I need to pay and get what I need to get, and now on top of, instead of it going into the hands of a bad guy's pocket, it's now going into the states. Now the state can be like, all right, we can take this money, this can go to this can go to this, and this can go to this. All right, everything's looking good.
Well, I mean, you said at the very beginning they gave us like 6 plants I think we could do. I don't think you can grow anything now. They revised it.
I have to do a double check, but the last I heard on the revise or whatnot was they were still making it to where you could grow and still have plants, but instead of 6, I was told they were trying to limit it down to like 2 or maybe 3.
That's insane. Telling people what they can grow after you've legalized it. That's utterly and stupidly insane.
Well, I think the reason why they did that is because if people can grow 6 plants, depending on, 1, the plant you're trying to grow, 2, if you know what you're doing and stuff like that, some people could get a decent amount of bud off of their plants and stuff like that, which is something that they don't want, because if you think about it, like, I see their point of limiting the plants but not trying to fully get rid of it, because if you limit the plants, then that means that's less someone can grow, and the more they're going to have to go out to your state dispensary store to purchase stuff to then help replenish the state and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
So
and
like I said,
they're missing money.
Yeah, so I can understand like lowering the plants, but not completely getting rid of it, because you are going to have people that still want to give it a shot. They're like, I can actually give it a chance to grow and not get in trouble. Let me give it a try.
Yeah, just grow a plant. Just see if I can do it.
I got a green thumb in this category.
You could.
Because who knows, that could be what some people were waiting for, to see if they could, and then if they could, maybe like, man, if I actually can grow this, maybe I should start a farm.
So let me ask you your opinion on this. I know you're a very opinionated person. Let's say a state legalizes it. Ohio. We've already legalized it. Let's say once they legalize it, do you believe that a criminal that had a possession of marijuana should be released from, jail or prison?
In my opinion, as long as because it's still illegal on a federal level.
Right.
So if their crime was just like a state level crime of marijuana, like, a misdemeanor type sentence or lower, then yes, I think the state should wipe it clean, get rid of it, if that's the only charge there was type deal. But if it's federal, obviously that's out of the state's hands, because that's on a federal level. There's nothing the state, in a sense, could do with that, as far as I am aware. But anything misdemeanor-wise, like a minor possession...
Get them out of prison, get them out of jail.
Like minor paraphernalia charge or whatnot. If it's misdemeanor, just be like, all right, you know what, dude, just... get out of here.
You're released.
Yeah, you're released. Your file's been expunged. It's not on your record or whatnot. Like, just get out of here, man. Go try to live life.
Right. Now, here's the thing that you said you could probably get a lot of bud out of one plant.
Possibly.
Right,
Yes.
right. You probably could, possibly could, whatever. Let's say they allowed us to grow 2 plants and we get a decent amount. Could that lead to a federal offense if you grew too much from those 2 plants?
No, because you don't. It really depends on the plant and how it grows. Because some plants, the little bit that I know of the science is you have to watch for a couple of things. If I remember this correctly, there is genders when it comes to the plants. There's male and female. You want females
Yeah.
because those are the ones that provide you the most bud. And so if you happen to grow males, you're not going to get that much, so it might not be. But if you get females and get a decent amount, it also depends on what the federal regulation considers to be a federal offense. Because, like, say if you grew enough, like, say if they said, 1 pound or more in your possession is considered a federal offense, but with all the plants you grew, you were say, like a third of a pound under, then no, you should be fine. But if you go beyond past that, then at that point, I don't necessarily know, because you're following the law of the state because you grew the plants yourself and you got the
Right.
product yourself. But at the same time, now you're in possession beyond the limit of what the federal government would allow. So that's something that I'm not necessarily sure. But also at the same time, do you really think the federal government's going to everyone's door? Excuse me, sir. Can we see how many plants you're growing and see how much weight?
Oh
you
no,
have?
they're not. They're looking at you
Now
dispensing it out.
Now, yeah, if you start dispensing it and whatnot on the side and things like that, that's a whole different subject and whatnot. But I would say if you grow it yourself, and in my opinion, even if you go past the federal limit of what you're supposed to have, but you're not distributing it, and it's just purely for yourself, what's the harm?
Right.
It's just for you.
I don't think there should be a harm, but I do realize why they let it get legalized. It'll help on crime rate. Cops don't have to concern themselves much more with, oh my gosh, you're carrying a small amount of weed or you're carrying a joint or something like that.
The only thing that they're going to have to be concerned about, which has still been a law even before they legalized marijuana, was DUI, driving under the influence.
Correct.
That's it. So if they pull someone over, even if they smell it, they have to look at the guy and then make a determination as to whether or not he's under the influence. If he's not, and he's got a little bit on him and it's under the legal limit of what the state allows you to carry on your possession, then yeah, my opinion, just if he was speeding or whatever the small issue is, give him his ticket, his warning, whatnot, have him go, call it a day.
Exactly. I mean, how do you feel about the fact that with Ohio raising their taxes on the marijuana and everything like that, how do you feel about people going up to Michigan or other states that have it legalized to get it? I mean, people would rather drive hours to go to another state to get it, and I know it's illegal to do. We've already heard the harsh penalties that you could occur on it. But if you want to keep the money here, then don't tax it out the butt, man.
Well, the thing is, though, is every state does that at the very beginning and whatnot, because of the fact is they got all the money they dumped into the programs to get them off the ground and get them going. That's why, because even when Michigan, Colorado, their taxes were high for the first year or two, but that's because the state was trying to recoup back all that money that they put into those things to get them off the ground and going. That's why I feel in Ohio, yeah, the first 2 or 3 years it's going to be expensive. We're going to have to tolerate and deal with it. But when the state recoups back that money, like Michigan did, because after a couple of years their taxes went down on their stuff. Same thing in Colorado, their tax went down on their stuff. It's just the state wants to recoup their money first, so their taxes are going to be high for the first couple of years. Once they get their money and they start seeing profit or whatnot, then that's when they'll be like, okay, instead of charging 30% tax, we can lower it down to 22. Then they say the following year, okay, we made a decent amount of money because people are still going to go and buy. And then the moment you lower the tax, people are like, oh, dude, it's less tax. We can get more. We can get more. Let's go get more. Now people are going to buy more because in their mind, they're like, less tax, I can get more. But reality is it's still the same trade-off. You're spending the same in a sense, but you're still possibly getting a little more. But people will spend more when the tax gets lowered, but that will happen in time.
Well, so a couple of things that I've read and that I've heard from people is that the dispensaries here sell crap. Dispensaries in other states have actually been known to sell better quality. Now, I don't smoke, I don't know, but I've just heard this to various sources. Like if you go to Michigan, if you go to a dispensary and they got what you like, but they have the same thing in Ohio, it seems like Michigan's is a lot better quality than Ohio's quality.
Now that I'm not necessarily sure about. You also got to think though too, Ohio's just starting, so when they just start, they're not going to get the cream of the crop stuff.
No, they're not. But I mean,
but also you got to think too though. It's like everyone's opinion varies with stuff, because who's to say that the batch they got in from that stuff just wasn't that good, but say the next batch they get's even better. all batches vary when it comes to this stuff because it depends on how if it was grown right, how long was it grown, was it dried out properly, or
Right.
cured properly.
Right.
Like there's different variations because like you could have two of the exact same plant groomed the exact same way and stuff like that. But say you dried one out an extra 5 minutes longer than the other, that 5 minutes could make or break a determining factor. And who's to say that's not the case with some of the stuff that's happening here and
Right.
whatnot? Because like maybe at first they send their low grade stuff to see how sales go, see what people buy, do stuff like that. And then if they notice, okay, we are getting sales, we are getting stuff, our stuff is selling, let's start sending a little bit more stuff. Let's send some better stuff over and whatnot. Because now that we know our stuff sells, we can sell more stuff. Because as far as I know, I would make the assumption that's how most merchants do stuff. Like if they're starting to sell stuff like that, you start off with the small end stuff, see how it goes. If people
Right.
buy it, then go, okay, let's start rolling out the better stuff and the better stuff and the better stuff.
I don't know. I think it's crazy on multiple levels. For one, you legalized it by listening to the people.
Mm-hmm.
You actually showed us our vote had.
It matter.
Yeah, it just matters, and it has authority within our society, which isn't crazy because I can think of voting nowadays. I don't believe it helps at all.
No,
but
I don't vote just for the simple fact is that even though I've heard the thing constantly throughout my life saying your one vote matters, your vote could change or whatnot, this and that. No. When it comes to local government or state government and even federal government, like maybe local wise, there's a possibility your vote could matter.
I believe locally it does.
Locally, it probably does matter because you are in the local area and people are going around getting stuff. So like that vote might actually matter or mean something. But when it comes to the state level, I would even barely put that at a 50-50 and whatnot. Only reason I say that is because, like what we've said, the people voted for the state to legalize marijuana in the state and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I can potentially see our state vote having some semi-value, not too much, just a little. But anything beyond that, no, that
Yeah,
does not matter.
it's insane, and like we know, Ohio's been red for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to remain red for a long time. But the thing is when we vote and we voted for such a change like this, it makes me want to, for one, be proud.
Yeah.
For one, because we've been through tobacco. I should say tobacco farming.
Yeah.
We got that legalized. We got the prohibition was a huge thing in this country for a long time. We were very close in never having alcohol again, legally.
Yeah. But they realized that
Taxes brought it all back.
well, not even that. Just the fact is that they knew that people like to drink. Like as a country, we grew up with drinking, and that's a big thing people did and whatnot as our culture. Because think about it: high society drinks, low society drinks, middle society drinks. Even before prohibition hit, like that was just something that I felt that I think they wanted to see how long they could keep it going, but I don't think it was ever going to be an actual permanent thing. I really don't.
I would love to believe that, but with the way things go nowadays, I don't know. I mean, because we got all of our stuff back that we wanted. And here's the crazy part. We're voting on stuff that should be just go ahead and be natural, be free. Like, dude, if you want to go get high, go get high. If you want to go get drunk, get drunk. But, there's people out there that can't be responsible with it.
No.
And then that causes issues within our society and households. Mm-hmm. Same thing. You could say alcohol's bad. You can say tobacco's bad. You can say marijuana's bad. Here's another thing that's bad. That destroys homes. Gambling.
Yeah.
Absolute gambling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Gambling will destroy a home quicker than anything.
Yeah, because you got that one person that always thinks that they just need that one chance to hit big and that's it, and they'll
keep going.
Going. Because they'll be like, my one chance is there. My one chance is there. It's like, dude, no. It's like, if it's there, it's not worth everything you've risked.
No, by far. But yeah. But no,
What do you have to do?
I have to go really bad.
Bathroom? Do there around the corner. Just watch the cord, please.
yeah. But no. It's just crazy, man, taxes and how everything evolves, and then I don't know, man. You think about it. If something comes up, let's just say, hey, we want to get rid of guns. For one, you can't because it's our Constitution Amendment to have it. And it keeps us,
Keeps the government grounded.
Right. We're having all sorts of issues today.
It happens.
But as my dog in the background whining. But we're gonna probably just gonna call this, man, because I could go into the Second Amendment, the guns and everything, but I think that'll tie into our next segment for our next episode, I should say, with what I have to say. But yeah, man. Till next time, guys.
Comment, subscribe, hit that like button, share to everyone. This has been Babbling Buffoons. All babbling, all buffoonery.